Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. pipe on the patio. Today I'm smoking my favorite pipe of them all, my Savinelli 320 Dolomiti. Of course, you guys know the 320s are my favorite pipes. But the Dolomiti, this one here, is probably my favorite pipe of them all. I just love this pipe. And in it, I'm smoking Gawith and Hogarth's Brown Flake Unscented. What a treat. Boy, what a treat. It's a beautiful day today. It is 10 o'clock in the morning. It's about in the high 40s, I think it is. It's supposed to get up into the mid 50s today, but I don't know if we're going to get there or not. It's awful cloudy, overcast, dark clouds in the sky, so I don't know if we'll see that or not, to tell you the truth. So yesterday Sadie texted me and she said, her boss at work is a pipe smoker. And a cigar smoker. So she told him about my channel and everything, and so I was kind of talking to him through Sadie yesterday. She came over last night, so I got a couple jars of tobacco, a couple jars, and put some tobacco in it for him. Sent him some brown Irish Twist, some black Irish Twist, some Brown Flake Unscented, and some H&H Dark Fire Ready Rub. He had not tried any of the Irish Twists, or I don't think he'd tried any of the Gawith and Hogarth stuff at all. And I figured since you can't get any the H&H Dark Fired, what I'd share some of that with him too. So I gave that to Sadie, and she took that to work today to give to him. And so he added me on Facebook, and but it was just kind of cool that he was a pipe smoker, you know. So hopefully we'll get together at some point, share a pipe or a cigar or something, and hang out, get to know each other. Jeff Sadie speaks just so highly of him, just how wonderful he is, and I put a picture up here. This is my dad with me, right, must have been in high school, right after high school. And over here is my grandmother and my Aunt Jane. I was going through some boxes out here in the barn, and I found those pictures, and I thought, I'm hanging those up, you know. A lot of these tools that I have hanging up on the wall are going to go into the toolbox here anyway, so I'm going to have space for putting stuff up on the wall. There will be a few things hanging on the wall still, but a lot of the stuff that's on the wall is going to go into the toolbox. Now that I got the toolbox, and I got to get everything in it that I want in it, and I have a few things in it. I've got my socket sets and stuff like that, some pliers and stuff, but I want to get all the rest of the stuff in there. I got a whole bunch of other under my thing down here in the bottom. I've got boxes of tools that are going to go into here. So I'm going to get it all set up the way I want it, label everything, label all the drawers, what's in what, and get it the way I've always wanted it to be. And so it's easy to find stuff, and everything will be where I want it. Things I have doubles of, the doubles will go on the wall. Like I'll have pliers and screwdrivers, stuff like that will be on the wall. Because I've been collecting craftsman tools for decades, and back when they were, made in America. I have some adjustable wrenches that were made the same year I was born, 1959. And I just love those things. And I've got some old socket wrenches that have the little V's on them, which were made in the 50s. I'll have to show those to you sometime. The switches, the little clickers on them for on and off are V's, and they're made in the 50s. And So they're older than I am. So since I too was made in the 50s. And but I've got a lot of stuff and I got a lot of my father-in-law's tools when he passed. I got a lot of his tools. And he had some nice quality tools. He had he had several big, huge Craftsman, the big tall Craftsman tool boxes. One of them was stolen out of his garage, and the other one was hidden in his garage behind all kinds of junk. And I went in there one year and into his garage, and it was just, the garage was just filled with boxes and stuff, and there was a pathway leading from the little side door to the refrigerator freezer, and that was the only pathway in the garage. The rest was filled to the ceiling with boxes and junk. And so I took a week off and decided I was going to clean out the garage for him, and started working on it. And it was, 80% of the stuff was just empty boxes that they had thrown out in the garage. So I rented a U-Haul, and just started busting down boxes and throwing them in the U-Haul. It's going to take them to the dump. And as I was doing that, I started finding all these tools. And about a third of the way through the garage, I found a snap-on welder. And which he, had covered up with all this stuff. And a bunch of other tools. He was an aircraft mechanic, was what he was. And about another third of the way from that one, I found another snap-on welder. And then up against the wall, there was another snap-on welder. Well, he didn't know he had these. He thought they had been stolen from him. So he was buying new ones because he couldn't find them. He had covered them up. And he had thought when they stole the box that they had stole all his welders as well. But they were in the garage. They were just covered up with boxes and junk and other tools. And so I went through the whole garage, got all his tools together, and then took all his hand tools, and put them in his toolbox and just laid them out, just perfectly. Each drawer was just perfectly laid out by size, and it was just, it was immaculate when I was done. And I labeled all the drawers, what was in each drawer with the labeler. And I had it, when it was all done, it was just, it looked like just a perfect shop, had all his welders lined up here, and he had a drill press and a bandsaw, and he had a radial arm saw. It was up in the corner, and these were all like nice tools. None of these were cheap. These weren't Harbor Freight stuff. This was all Craftsman and Snap-on, and it was Mac. He had good tools. He had some Harbor Freight stuff because when he thought things were getting stolen, he quit buying the good tools. But he had all these good tools. So anyway, I had, just put that whole big old, it was, as tall as I was, this box. A beautiful Craftsman, old Craftsman toolbox. Perfect condition. And Denny's sister and her husband came from Utah to visit. And they wound up buying a bunch of those tools that they had in the garage. My father-in-law didn't know it, that they were buying them, and he was pretty pissed off about it. He wasn't in good health. He couldn't have used any of them anymore. But he was a little pissed off about it. And my mother-in-law was a little upset that they bought she sold it to him. I don't know why she was upset, but she wanted me to have that toolbox because I had done all that work for him. And I said, look, if they're going to buy it, if they're going to give you money for it, and you're happy with what they're offering, let them have it, take the money. And so she did. She took the money, but she was kind of upset because she wanted me to have that when Pop was gone. And but he did give me, before he passed away, he gave me the radial arm saw. And then when he passed, Denny's mom told me to take the old Craftsman bandsaw and the old Craftsman drill press, which were the old metal, aluminum, really nice ones. So I took those with me, and then we sold. He had a couple of airplanes. I can't forget what kind they were called. They're airplanes that you can fly. You don't need a license to fly them. They're experimental aircraft. He had 2 experimental aircraft in a storage facility, and he had a couple of engines, and so some guy from Texas came and he bought those from us, from Denny's mom, and all the airplane parts that he had. He bought all that stuff and hauled it away. But I got a lot of power tools, sanders and circular saws and stuff like that were old Craftsman, the silver or aluminum Craftsman tools. They need brushes. I got to get brushes for them, but they still work. They just, it takes a minute for them to kick on because the brushes aren't engaging properly. I probably need to stretch out the spring on them a little bit. But they all work. I just need new brushes. But it was so nice when he came out in the garage and he saw the garage was all cleaned up, and I had all his tools on the shelves. His hand power tools were up on the shelves. His hand tools were in that box, and he just stood there and he just smiled at it, and he said, "I don't deserve to have all this. I don't deserve all this." And I said, "They're your tools, Pop. You absolutely deserve them." And he goes, "I never should have let it get like that," and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "I'm just glad I could help you. We got all the boxes out. It was all cardboard boxes basically in there, I said, now we got, everything's up here where you can find it. Here's all your power tools up here, and you got 3 snap-on welders." And he goes, "I thought my welders got stolen." He goes, "I have 3 of them?" I said, "Yeah, you got 3 snap-on welders." Well, one of his grandsons was into motorcycle repair and stuff, so he gave one of those to him, and then the other 2, I don't actually know what happened to the other 2. I think we probably sold the other 2 after he passed away. And I wish I had bought one of them, but I didn't do any welding. But McKinley does. McKinley welded in high school, and she was really good at it. She actually got hired to do welding at the Burning Man concert thing for the stage there. They hired her to do that before it started. They had her come out with a couple other students from the high school, and they built the stage for Burning Man and did all the welding for it and everything, and paid her for it. But she was a really good welder. I wish she still would do it, but she has no interest in doing it now. She did an internship and hated it. She hated doing the internship, and that kind of sealed it for her. She just didn't want to do it after that, But she was really good at it. But I've always wanted to get one of those big toolboxes like that, and I've never had one. I always had the little tiny, smaller than this one. This one is, I pieced together this one from 3 different pieces, from Marketplace. I bought the bottom part here, and then I bought this part, and then I bought the top part. 3 different pieces to make one, and that's still about half as big as the one that my father-in-law had. It was twice as wide, another 2 feet taller than that one. But it's perfectly, it's fine. It will do me just fine. But then I have a little tiny one, a little bit smaller than this one, in the main garage of the house. And that was the little $129 Craftsman one that I bought in '94 when we bought our first house. you know. My wife bought that for me for Christmas when we bought our first house. And it's been great. It's been wonderful. And I loved it, you know. And but I've got a lot of nice old Craftsman tools that I've been buying for years, going to thrift stores and antique stores and marketplace, and you know, just stuff like that, and looking for old tools, and specifically Craftsman. You know, I was always a Craftsman, the old Craftsman stuff. And the nice thing was, I used to find tools all the time on the street. I used to drive to pick up the girls from school, and on the route I would take, I would find tools all the time on this street. All the time. I mean, like every week I would find at least 2 tools on this street. And they were usually Craftsmen. And the cool thing was, if they were all chewed up and bent, broken, I could just take them to Sears and get them replaced, you know. And my dad was the same way. He worked on the San Diego Coronado Bay Bridge. He'd find tools and stuff all the time on the bridge. He'd find all kinds of stuff on the bridge, but he'd bring home tools all the time that would just get dropped on the bridge somehow, off of trucks or cars or whatever. And he was the electrician on the bridge, so he drove a truck with the flashing lights, and he'd see something, he'd just pull over and turn his lights on, go out and pick it up. He'd bring home chairs. He'd find chairs on the side, really nice chairs, brand spanking new chairs, still in the box. Bring them home. He had a collection of hats down in the computer room down below in the basement of where all the computers were at the bridge. Just a whole wall of hats that he would find on the bridge, and he'd just bring them in, drive a nail in the wall and hang a hat up on there. There must have been 150 hats that he had hanging on the wall up there. People would just, you know, guys riding a motorcycle, Navy guys would, you know, riding their motorcycles, and a hat would fly off, and he'd find it, bring it in, hang it up on the wall. And golf balls. There was a golf course right along the bridge, and he'd find golf balls. He'd get off work and he'd go walking along the edge of the golf course, and he'd find hundreds and hundreds of golf balls and bring those home. We had couple of 5-gallon buckets of golf balls that my brother and I, when we played golf, we never had to buy golf balls. Dad brought home golf balls for us. Well, this one went long. We're already at a half an hour. Anyway, that's what's been going on. That was a long story about all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I will catch you guys later. God bless. Have a good one. And I will catch you another time. Have a good one. Take care.